Hey all, this week I have another compilation for you, with the best teams for Sinnoh I created earlier this year. I'll be honest, I didn't really see a point in remastering the Empoleon team because it looked like it didn't need very many changes, so I'm just going to include the older one. But yeah, Infernape, Torterra, and Empoleon are all rolled into one giant video. As usual, I will leave timestamps in the description below of where you guys can go check out each individual one. With that, I will see you guys very soon for the remastered team for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. It's been 6 years since we last stepped into the original sequel Sinnoh game, Pokemon Platinum. While I thought the original team was fine, it definitely needed some tweaking. This time, I decided to ask a longtime friend and mod of the channel, Memory Martin, to help me out. She's made several teams over the years across various games, and they've been pretty solid. She made sure to make all 3 Sinnoh teams unique, and even went above and beyond to test all 3 of them to make sure they're viable during your playthrough. As always, we won't allow trade evos, egg moves, nor post-game tutor moves. However, any legendary Pokemon you can catch before the game will be allowed. With that, let's see what team Memory made for Infernape. Alright, so as I just said, our starter will be Infernape. Infernape is the fastest and hardest hitting of the 3 Sinnoh starters, with an equal physical and special attack stat. To showcase this, we've got a moveset of Flamethrower, Close Combat, Grass Knot, and U-Turn. Flamethrower you get from the Veilstone Game Corner, or in the Fuego Ironworks if you have Surf. Close Combat you get at level 36 as a Monferno, Grass Knot you get from beating Gardenia, and U-Turn you get from either the Veilstone Game Corner or south of the dock to take the boat to Iron Island in Canalave City. With these moves, Infernape does well against Rourke's team with Mach Punch, Gardenia's team, Maylene's Lucario, Wake's Quagsire if you're feeling bold, Byron's team, Candace's team, etc. Quick side note as well, if you don't want close combat and want something with more PP, Brick Break can be found as a TM underneath the Oreburgh Gate after obtaining the Bike and Rock Smash. Next up, we've got Gyarados. I know we just had it on the remastered team for Oras, but it's just so good in Sinnoh. You can catch Magikarp right after entering Jubilife City by getting the old rod from an NPC west of Jubilife. It'll be a grind to get it to evolve into a Gyarados, but you should have it by the time you fight either Gardenia or Fantina. For moves, we got Waterfall, Bite, Ice Fang, and Dragon Dance. You'll use Aqua Tail at level 35 until you get the HM for Waterfall from Jasmine. Bite is learned when Magikarp evolves into Gyarados at level 20, Ice Fang is learned at level 32, and Dragon Dance is learned at level 44. With these moves, Gyarados does well against Fantina with Bite, Byron, Steelix, and Bastiodon, Candace's Piloswine and Frostlass, etc. Bite on Gyarados is also going to be your best bet going up against Fantina for this point in time in the game. For our third member, we've got another flying type with Togekiss. Togekiss is going to be our flyer, and you get it from Cynthia as an egg after beating Team Galactic in Eternatus City. Make sure to save the game before you get the egg, as you'll want Serene Grace over Hustle as an ability. It's going to be a bit of a pain to evolve Togepi in the Togetic, but you get the Soothe Bell from Cheryl after getting through Return of Forest, and you can get a massage from the house before reaching the Veilstone Gym. We're giving Togekiss Air Slash, Aura Sphere, Ominous Wind / Shadow Ball, and Fly. If you want a higher chance of getting an Omni Boost with Serene Grace, go for Ominous Wind. If you want to be able to hit more Psychic / Ghost types, go for Shadow Ball. You get Air Slash and Aura Sphere from the Move Reminder with a Heart Scale each, Ominous Wind from the Move Tutor on the route west of Pastoria City, or you can get the Shadow Ball TM on your way to Celestic Town with Rock Smash. As for Fly, you get that from Looker after helping Lucas or Dawn defeat some Team Galactic grunts once you get the Cobble Badge from Maylene. Togekiss will do well against Maylene's Meditite and Machoke if you evolve it in the Togetic and get Air Cutter, Byron's team with Aura Sphere, Candace's team with Aura Sphere and Shadow Ball, and it can also be used against Candace's team with Aura Sphere and Shadow Ball, etc. Just be careful. Our fourth member is going to be Jolteon. Jolteon's main job is to zap all the water and flying types you'll encounter. You can get an Eevee from Bebe once you enter Hearthome City, and a Thunderstone from the Solaceon Ruins as a hidden item. Memory gave Jolteon a pretty fun moveset: a Thunderbolt, Charge Beam, Thunder Wave, and Magnet Rise. you can get Thunderbolt from the Veilstone Game Corner, or by surfing north of the Valley Windworks. You get Charge Beam from beating Volkner, Thunder Wave at level 57, and Magnet Rise from the Move Tutor west of Pastoria City. Back to Thunder Wave for a sec. I don't like that the TM for it cannot be obtained until the post-game. Why would Game Freak make such a staple move on Jolteon so late in the game? It literally does not make sense to me at all. Due to Jolteon's limited move pool, it's hard to come up with a replacement move for Thunder Wave, or you can just wait until level 57. But I don't know, leave your own movesets for Jolteon down below. With these moves, Jolteon will do good against Crasher Wake's Gyarados and Floatzel, all the important Team Galactic flying types, Barry Staraptor and Empoleon, Aaron's Yanmega and Vespiquen, Cynthia's Togekiss and Milotic, etc. Jolteon may not have a lot of fights under its belt in Sinnoh, but it should be able to one-shot or two-shot any water or flying type it comes across. For the second to last member, we've got the pseudo-legendary Garchomp. You can get Garchomp in Wayward Cave after getting the Togepi egg and having a Pokemon with Cut. For moves, we've got Dragon Claw, Earthquake, Rock Slide, and Crunch. Dragon Claw is learned as a Gabite at level 33. Earthquake can be found as a TM in Wayward Cave, though it can't learn it until it evolves into Gabite at level 24. Rock Slide can be found at Mount Coronet with Surf and Rock Climb. And Crunch, it learns as a Garchomp once it evolves at level 48. With these moves, Garchomp will be able to do good against Maylene's Lucario and Byron's team, but I would say the best battle it does well in is obviously the battle against Volkner. The kicker is I'm not sure if Gabite will be fully evolved into Garchomp at this point in time, so maybe focus on that a bit more before attempting to sweep him. I am not sure if Gabite has the power to sweep Volkner, but either way, it will dent him nonetheless. Our last team member is going to be Weavile. You can catch Sneasel as you make your way to Snowpoint City, and you get the Razor Claw in Victory Road. Our moveset for the final member is going to be Avalanche, Night Slash, Brick Break, and Swords Dance. Also, slow down there, commenter. I'm only kidding. Avalanche is negative priority. I'm not making that same mistake again. Instead, Weavile is learning Ice Punch. You get Ice Punch from the Move Tutor on the route west of Pastoria with some shards, Night Slash at level 35, Brick Break at Oreburg Gate with Rock Smash and Surf, and Swords Dance at the Veilstone Game Corner. Weavile is mainly here for the Lucian beatdown, but its main premise is Cynthia's Garchomp. Seeing that thing go down from a ×4 Ice Punch is always satisfying. Now, let's figure out our situation with the HM employee if you don't want to keep going back and forth to the PC. One of the perks of not catching Sneasel until late game is the fact you can use a B-Barrel for most of your HM needs until then. Gyarados will have Waterfall, so you're good in that department. Weavile can be taught Surf in place of Brick Break. Garchomp can be taught Rock Climb and Rock Smash in place of its last two moves. And Infernape can be taught Strength in place of U-Turn. If you do not mind going into the PC to grab B-Barrel for Mount Coronet and Victory Road though, you can disregard this. I only leave this section here because I don't deem these coverage moves on these mons 100% necessary. I just like giving you guys full-blown movesets, that way it's more fun. The mons only really need their main stab attacks so they can do their intended jobs. It's just the process of having to go back and forth to the PC for B-Barrel is extremely tedious. I also almost forgot the held items for the team. For Infernape, we're giving it the Expert Belt. It boosts all 4 of Infernape's moves obtained after surfing on Route 221 as a second item from the man who wants to see X-leveled Mon. Gyarados will be rocking the Mystic Water, and that boosts Water Stab. Thirdly, we have the Wise Glasses for Togekiss. This is given by a man inside the building in the top left corner of Celestic Town at night. For Jolteon, we have the Magnet, which can be found on Iron Island in the room where you team up with Riley. The choice specs can also be considered for Jolteon, considering you're mainly only going for T-Bolt anyway. It's gotten the same way as the Wise Glasses, just in the morning. For Garchomp, I will leave that selection to you guys, between the Soft Sand and the Dragon Fang. The Dragon Fang can be found in Celestic Town, on the east edge behind the Pokemon Center before your first fight with Cyrus. and the soft sand can be found near the northwest corner of the foggy lake, which requires rock smash in strength. Lastly, the never melt ice can be given to Weavile, and that can be found inside Mount Coronet right before Route 216. Well, that's gonna do it for the remastered best team for Pokemon Platinum. Let Memory and I know what you think of the team. She spent a lot of time researching and helping me out, so once again, huge shout out for her. If you guys do like cozy games and RPGs, be sure to go and check her out. I'll leave a link to her Twitch in the description below. Hey guys, before we start, I wanted to give a big shout out to Memory Martin for help on this team. She's going to be a part of a charity event from September 21st through the 28th called the 1UP Gaming Festival. As of me recording, she's not sure what days and times she'll be live, so make sure to follow her on Twitch when she does. She also shared her donation link for the event if you guys want to support the cause. With that, let's get started. Today, we're diving into the best team for Torterra and Pokemon Platinum. You guys showed a lot of love on the Infernape team, and Memory, as usual, crushed it with the testing and research for that squad, so we had to come back with another one. As always, the same rules apply. No trade evolutions, no egg moves, no post-game tutor moves, but we will be providing movesets, where to find said Pokemon, abilities if applicable, and of course any legendary you can get before beating the champion is fair game. With that said, let's see just how strong Torterra and the squad really are. Of course, leading the charge is our starter Torterra. This walking fortress brings massive attack, great bulk, and the power to shake the ground under its opponents. Sure, it's slower than the other Sinnoh starters, but it doesn't need speed when it hits like a truck and shrugs off hits with Woodhammer, Earthquake, Rock Slide, and Crunch. You will be using Razor Leaf for the vast majority of the time though. Woodhammer is learned via Move Relearner. Earthquake is learned upon evolution. Rock Slide is found via TM after getting Surf and going into Mount Coronet. And Crunch is learned via level up at level 45. Curse can be fun if you want to set up. That can be learned via level up at 17. Torterra dominates early matchups like Rourke's Rock types, mid-game threats like Mayleen's Lucario and Wake's Quagsire, and even late-game challenges like Volkner's Electric types. For an item, Torterra would do great with the soft sand to boost Earthquake. Torterra's job is to be the anchor. It takes the hits other teammates can't, and punches right back with some of the strongest stab attacks in the game. It may not be flashy, but Torterra is your reliable tank that keeps the whole team grounded. Backing Torterra up, we've got one of the strongest early birds in the entire franchise, Staraptor. This Pokemon has been a fan favorite for years, and it's not hard to see why. Starly can be found literally in the first routes of the game, with its evolution Staraptor packing base 120 attack and blistering speed. Staraptor doesn't just fly, it destroys. With Fly for stab utility, Close Combat for insane fighting coverage, Return Stab, and Pluck for utility, Staraptor does it all. Fly is found in the Galactic Warehouse, Close Combat is learned at level 34, Return is learned via TM, which you can get right at the beginning of the game from Rowan, and Pluck is done from an NPC in Floroma Town. If you do not like secondary Fly Stab, you can always grab the Steel Wing TM located on Route 209 after cutting down a tree. For an item, I would give Staraptor the Silk Scarf. That can be bought at the game corner for 1,000 coins. Gardenia's grass types crumble to its flying moves. Mayleen's fighting types get wiped out by aerial assaults, and even Aaron of the Elite Four can't stand up to Staraptor's raw offensive pressure. And the best part, Starly is literally, like I said, at the beginning of the game, meaning you have this powerhouse by your side the entire game. If Torterra is the anchor, Staraptor is the spear. You throw it forward, and it smashes through walls. Coming in as our third member, we've got Floatzel, and honestly, I kinda regret not picking Floatzel over Gyarados on the last best team. Don't get me wrong, Gyarados was amazing with the Gen 4 physical special split, but this time, I realized something crucial. Floatzel gets Crunch at level 26, and that alone is much better than what Gyarados gets to deal with Fantina. You will have to overlevel Floatzel a tad, but it's more than worth it for this battle in my opinion. So I will say Floatzel is the true winner of this debate, and I think it's the best water type to use in Platinum. Let me know down below if I'm wrong. Buizel can of course be found at the Valley Windworks. Its moveset is going to consist of either Ice Punch or Ice Fang, Crunch, Surf, or Waterfall, and if you want, you could even give it Rain Dance to boost its speed and power. Buizel storms in as our dedicated Rain Sweeper, breaking through teams before they even knew what hit him. Ice Punch is learned via Move Tutor on Route 212. I will leave you guys a video down below of where to find shards. Ice Fang is also an option if you want to move relearn that. Crunch, I mentioned prior. Surf is obtained by Cynthia's grandma and Celestic by progressing the story, and Waterfall is obtained after defeating Volkner and talking to Jasmine right before surfing to Victory Road. For an item, I would go with the Never Melt Ice. That way its ice attacks are powered up. That can be found in Mount Coronet. Buizel freezes down Cynthia's Garchomp with ice coverage, shreds Flint's Infernape with Water Stab, and can outspeed just about everything once Rain Dances up if you choose to go that route. Buizel is the definition of speed control, ensuring this team never gets outpaced by faster threats. I would say most of the time, the rain isn't necessary. It's just fun to know it's a possibility with how much you can break the game with it. And to keep that offensive pressure rolling, our fourth member is Gallade. This blade-wielding knight is an absolute menace on the physical side. You'll want to snag a male Ralts before Hearthome City, and once it evolves, Gallade goes to work. You can find a Dawnstone on Route 212 as a hidden item. With Brick Break, one of the elemental punches, plus Leaf Blade and Psycho Cut, Gallade's coverage is insane. Brick Break is found as a TM in Orberg Gate after getting the bike. The elemental punches are move tutored. Psycho Cut can be learned at level 31, and Leaf Blade can be move relearned. For an item, I would give Gallade the Expert Belt. That can be obtained on Route 221, and I'll just leave you guys a video on how to get that. If you need an answer to Crash Awake's Gyarados, Thunder Punch has you covered. Malene's fighting types? Gallade resists them and fights back harder, if you can get Psycho Cut in time at level 31. Team Galactic's poison types? Psycho Cut deletes them on sight. And against the Elite Four, Gallade is flexible enough to slot into multiple fights, given you've got the right coverage. Gallade is your ultimate coverage weapon. No matter the situation, it's got a blade ready. For our fifth slot, we're bringing in some raw firepower. Houndoom. Not only does it look menacing, it plays the part perfectly as one of our special attackers. Houndour can be found on Route 214. For Houndoom's moveset, we've got Flamethrower, Dark Pulse, Thunderfang, and Iron Tail. Flamethrower is a TM that can be found in the Fuego Ironworks. Dark Pulse's TM can be found in Victory Road. Thunderfang is move relearned, and Iron Tail is found on Iron Island. Other than that though, Houndoom is ready to melt teams once it gets going. Candace's Abomasnow? Gone. Lucian's Psychic types? Sent packing. Even Aaron's Bug types won't stay in long on this thing. And let's not forget, it also covers Steel types that might wall Gallade. It's flashy, it's deadly, and it adds that much needed special offense to round out our core. For Houndoom's item, we're going with the choice specs. Those can be found in Celestic Town by talking to an NPC in the morning in the top left house. And finally, rounding out the team is Magnezone. This electric fortress locks down steel types while adding more bulk to the squad. Magnemite can be found at the Fuego Ironworks and can be evolved into Magnezone by simply just leveling it up once in Mount Coronet. With Thunderbolt and Flash Cannon for reliable stab, plus Light Screen and Reflect to support the whole team, Magnezone makes sure the rest of our team lineup can do their jobs safely. Thunderbolt can be taught as a TM from the Veilstone Game Corner, Flash Cannon is learned via TM after defeating Byron, and Light Screen and Reflect can both be bought as TMs from the Veilstone department store. It fries Candace's Frostlass, destroys Cynthia's Milotic, and it even shuts down Team Galactic's flying types, etc. Magnezone isn't just support, it's the glue of the team. It can play offensively when needed, but more importantly, it creates safe windows for sweepers like Floatzel and Houndoom to set up and win games. If Torterra is the anchor, Magnezone is the shield, keeping the entire squad safe while striking back when it counts. For an item, Magnezone will be using the Light Clay. That can be found in Victory Road after learning Surf. Now, let's talk about HMs, because we all know how annoying it can be to swap in a B-Barrel every 5 minutes. Luckily, this team handles it pretty smoothly. Torterra can cover Strength and Rock Smash if you need it. Staraptor of course gives you Fly. Floatzel is our Surf user and can also run Waterfall when you get it. Magnezone doesn't need an HM slot, so it stays focused on support. Gallade and Houndoom are better left as pure battlers. But if you're desperate, Gallade can take Rock Climb. And if you'd rather not teach your main team the extra stuff, you can always keep a B-Barrel on the PC as a dedicated HM buddy for things like Cut and Rock Smash. Either way, this lineup keeps HM stress to a minimum while still covering everything you'll need to reach the Pokemon League. And that's the best team for Torterra in Pokemon Platinum. We've got bulk, speed, and we've got coverage for just about everything Sinnoh throws at you. Once again, huge shoutouts to Memory, because she played a lot in terms of getting this video done. Once again, I left her stuff down in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, let us know what starter you guys want to see next. And with that said, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
As the title of the video says, this best team is going to be revolving around Empoleon. To me, Empoleon is the second best starter to take on Sinnoh. Empoleon has a pretty interesting typing of Water and Steel, one of the most unique typings you can even put on a Pokemon. On top of its typing, Empoleon has a wide move pool filled with unique coverage attacks and moves you wouldn't expect Empoleon to have. I'll be going into a few of those moves in its moveset. Empoleon has some pretty great stats overall. The only down part is its speed, and as I mentioned in the original best team for Sinnoh, this speed is what makes Empoleon lack in Sinnoh. Sinnoh lacks speed, that's why Infernape is the best starter, but we have to make a team revolving around Empoleon. Empoleon does have some great special attack though, and one of the best parts of Empoleon is that it has special attack stabs for both of its typings, so that makes Empoleon at least halfway decent. Empoleon isn't as bad as Torterra though. I dread the day I have to make that team. Our moveset for Empoleon is rather interesting, as you guys will see soon enough. For its stabs we have Surf and Flash Cannon, and for coverage we have Grass Knot and Blizzard. Surf you get the HM from Cynthia, Flash Cannon you get from defeating Byron, Grass Knot you get from defeating Gardenia, and Blizzard you can get from Lake Acuity after surfing. I mentioned unique moves Empoleon got earlier, and one of these moves is Grass Knot. I have no idea why it gets Grass Knot, but it just comes in handy for other water Pokemon such as Crasher Wick's Quagsire. This is the final moveset I recommend for Empoleon, so until you get access to all those moves, use Bubble and Bubble Beam for its main stabs, and maybe even Metal Claw if you want to Steel Stab early on. With all these moves, Empoleon does great against Rourke, Crasher Wick's Quagsire and Floatzel, Byron's Bastiodon and Steelix, Candace's team, Bertha's team, Flint's team, Cynthia's Togekiss and Roserade, Barry Staraptor, Rapidash, Floatzel, and Torterra line, just be careful, the Galactic Admin's Golbat line, and Cyrus's team is set up from Gyarados. Empoleon can dent teams pretty well with these attacks, aided with its great special attack stat. Just be wary of its slow speed. Oh man, and the last best team we were trying to find grass types, and we slept on this one, hardcore. I regret not picking up Roserade for the original best team for Sinnoh, or at least something better than Abomasnow. Roserade, in my opinion, is one of the best grass-type Pokemon you can pick up in Sinnoh, and it actually can be found very early in the game on Route 204 as a Badoo. Roserade's stats are excellent, decent speed and great special attack. The other grass-type Pokemon in this game are just super slow compared to Roserade. Electric Pokemon are another option for you, I guess, but because there are Quagsire and Whiscash all over the place, I think grass is just generally better. There are, however, some Tentacle and whatnot in the water routes in the game, but there's not much surfing in Sinnoh regardless, so I think you're going to be fine. Now, I understand that you can capture Roselia a little later, but I think getting Badoo this early on is the best route. Badoo can evolve into Roselia via friendship in the daytime. After you get Roselia, you can then proceed to evolve Roselia into Roserade using a Shiny Stone. You can find a Shiny Stone in Iron Island. Once you get the Shiny Stone, you can immediately evolve Roselia into Roserade, or wait until Roselia is level 40 for Petal Dance. Roserade also has a really fun move pool to mess up too, so I think you guys are going to enjoy this one. Roserade's moveset is going to be a typical one, but odd one at the same time, so I hope you guys do enjoy this. Starting off with Roserade stabs, we have Petal Dance and Sludge Bomb. Then we have Stun Spore because Paralysis can come in clutch, and soon after for coverage, we have Shadow Ball for those psychic types if a situation gets sticky for you. Petal Dance, as I mentioned earlier, can be learned at level 40. Sludge Bomb can be found in the Galactic Hideout in Veilstone City. Stun Spore can be learned at level 10 from Badoo, and Shadow Ball can be found on Route 210 just east of Celestic Town after crossing some wooden planks and rock smashing some rugged boulders. Until you get Petal Dance, use Use Mega Drain followed by Magical Leaf until level 40. Giga Drain is nice, but it only has so many power points that you can use. As for Poison, don't really worry about that until you get Sludge Bomb, unless you want to spam Poison Sting against Gardenia, but even then, I don't think that's going to help you out much. We'll be getting a team member for Gardenia in a little while, so don't worry about that too much. So with all these moves in mind, Roserade is great against Rourke, Gardenia if you want to try your luck, Crash Awake's team aside from Gyarados, Candace's Pillow-Swine, Bertha's team aside from Gliscor, Lucian's team, do you really want to do that though? Cynthia's Milotic and Barry's Floatzel. I don't know how many best teams this Pokemon has been on, but welcome back, Crobat. Now before you screw me and say, what about Staraptor? Staraptor's so great, Mythic, screw you, this video sucks. You can use Staraptor if you want. Heck, I actually want to use Staraptor, but there's a reason why we're using Crobat, and that's because it gets access to the move Bite for Fantina. Staravia can't touch Fantina, but if you want to find out a way to defeat it, go for it. Honestly, what you can even do is just train both Staravia and Golbat at the same time, and then just toss Golbat in the PC after. We will be getting a check to Ghost and Psychic types very soon, so just be patient. Plus, it feels weird to me having two Flying types and Poison types on the team regardless. But if you want to use Crobat over Staraptor, that's fine too. I always praise Crobat because it's fast, has great stats, and has an interesting move pool to mess with. Staraptor also has a fun move pool to mess with. It may not be as fast as Crobat, but Staraptor definitely hits harder than Crobat can. Both are great flyers for Sinnoh, and honestly, I recommend either one of these, so I will be providing movesets for both of these Pokemon, so you guys can choose which ones you want. But I do recommend keeping Golbat specifically for Fantina, and then if you want to switch later, you're more than welcome to. First, let's unveil the moveset for Crobat. Fly, Cross Poison, Bite, and Steel Wing. Fly can be obtained from the HM instead of the Veilstone Galactic Building. Cross Poison can be learned via Mover Learner. Be sure to also have some hard skills for that. You can find hard skill locations on YouTube, it's really easy to search. Bite is learned via Level Up, and Steel Wing can be found south of Solaceon Town on Route 209 by removing a cut tree south of the tower. Staraptor's moveset is pretty basic nonetheless. Fly in return for stab, close combat for coverage, and you can even get U-turn to get out of tough spots. Return can be found in the Pokemon Tower south of Solaceon Town on the 3rd floor. Close combat can be learned via Level Up, and U-turn can be found south of Canalava City, past the boats after surfing. So because Crobat and Staraptor are both flying types, I'll be grouping them together when it comes to what they do well against. These flyers dominate Gardenia, Bite on Fantina's team for Crobat, Maylene's team, Byron for Staraptor's close combat, Candace's team for close combat, though I really wouldn't recommend it, Aaron's Bugs aside from Scizor and Drapion, Bertha's Rock types with close combat, but do you really want to? Flint's Houndoom for close combat, and regular Fly for Infernape. Lucian's Gallade, Cynthia's Roserade, Barry's Torterra and Heracross, Cyrus's Houndoom and Weavile for close combat, and once again, Mars's Perugly for close combat. Coming in at the number 4 spot, we have a brand new member in Gallade. Now I have to be honest, Gallade is one of the main reasons this best team is only based on Platinum. In Diamond and Pearl, Gallade isn't available until post-game, and he is just too good of a Pokemon to not include on a best team. Now if you're playing Diamond and Pearl, you can either use Lucario or Heracross if you want to get fighting type, or you can use Bronzong if you want a decent psychic type. Like I said in the beginning of the video, a majority of you guys were cool with me doing only Platinum, so please don't get mad at me. Anyhow, moving on. Ralts can be obtained fairly early on Route 208 at level 17 or 18, so you won't have to wait too long to evolve it into Kirlia. From there, you don't have to wait too long until you get the Dawnstone on Route 212. However, I do recommend keeping it a Kirlia, at least until it learns Magical Leaf. But once you do that, it's pretty much smooth sailing from there. With the vast move pool and fantastic stats, Gallade truly is one of the most valuable members of the team. Now, a moveset for Gallade isn't really tricky, but there are a ton of different moves you can use on it. However, we're going to be giving it Psycho Cut and Close Combat for its stab moves, and then Leaf Blade and Earthquake for coverage moves. The great thing about Gallade is he has so many options that I've decided to give you all a second choice on each of his moves. Psycho Cut is learned at level 31, but if you want a more consistent and strong move compared to it, simply level up Kirlia to level 31 before evolving it into Gallade, so it'll have Psychic. Close Combat is learned at level 53, so you'll want it to learn Brick Break. The Brick Break TM can be found at Oreburg Gate. With that being said, if you don't want to deal with the defense traps that come out of Close Combat, you can just keep on using Brick Break. It's got 75 base power and it's actually pretty strong. With Leaf Blade, you're gonna have to take a Heart Skill to the Mover Learner in Pastoria City. Or if you want a Bug Tap coverage move, you can teach it X-Scissor. The TM is located on Route 221. And finally, Earthquake is located in Wayward Cave. But if you want a Dark Tap coverage move instead, you can have it learn Night Slash from the Mover Learner. In the end, the choice is yours. However, I do recommend the original 4 moves of Psycho Cut, Close Combat, Leaf Blade, and Earthquake. With these moves, Gallade does well against Maylene's Machoke and Lucario, Wake's Quagsire and Floatzel, Byron's team, Candace's team, just be careful of Frostlass, Vulkner's team, Aaron's Heracross and Drapion, Bertha's team minus Gliscor, Flint's team with Earthquake, Cynthia's Roserade, Lucario, and Milotic, Barry's Rapidash, Floatzel, and Heracross, all of the Galactic Admins Pokemon, and finally Cyrus's Crobat and Weavile. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can tell why it was worth doing Platinum only to have this beast on the team. Earlier when I mentioned Staraptor and Crobat, I stated we were going to get a Pokemon that would cover both Ghost and Psychic types, and the Pokemon I was talking about is Houndoom. Pokemon Diamond and Pearl lack firepower, literally. The best fire Pokemon you can get in general in Sinnoh is Infernape. Infernape is the best starter for Sinnoh for a reason. Diamond and Pearl lack firepower a lot, so the only fire Pokemon you can get is Rapidash. And honestly, Rapidash isn't even all that great. If you are playing Diamond and Pearl though, however, your only option is Rapidash. But in Pokemon Platinum, we have Houndoom, and honestly, I was wondering if I would ever have the opportunity to use this awesome Hellhound on a team. Houndoom is a decently hard-hitting special fire attacker with a more than decent speed stat of 95. Houndoom also is the best option you can get across all 3 games other than Infernape when it comes to fire types. It may only get Ember in the beginning, but later you can get Fire Fang, and to be honest, it's not that bad until Flamethrower at level 48. Dark and Fire is such a dominant type in Sinnoh that I would argue Houndoom is actually one of the MVPs on the team. Houndoom's moveset, I think, is gonna sound like a competitive one. Flamethrower, Dark Pulse, Thunder Fang, and Iron Tail. Well, kind of a competitive one, I guess. Flamethrower can be learned at level 48. However, if you don't want to wait that long, you can get the Flamethrower TM from Fuego Ironworks, which can be obtained right after you get Surf. Dark Pulse can be found in Victory Road after navigating around for a while. Dark Pulse obviously you don't get for a very long time, so until then you can use Bite. Houndoom still has base 90 physical attack. That's not even all that bad. Feigning Attack is also another option. You get that at level 38 if you never want to miss. Thunder Fang can be learned via Mover Learner, and Iron Tail can be found on Iron Island after a little bit of navigating through. With all these moves, Houndoom does well against Byron, Candace, Aaron's team is set up from Drapion, Lucian's team is set up from Gallade, Cynthia's Roserade and Lucario, just be careful, Barry's Torterra and Heracross, be careful again, Cyrus's Weavile, and the Galactic Admin's Bronzor. And for the last member of the team, we have the twin tusk Pokemon, Mamoswine. Now you do have to wait a decent amount of time to get Swinub, being that it's first available on Route 217, but it's definitely worthwhile in my opinion. Make sure you have hard skills piled up, as you'll need to use them on this Pokemon a few times. One of those times being as a Piloswine, so it can get Ancient Power, the move needed to evolve Piloswine into Mamoswine. Again, it's a lot of work to put into this Pokemon, but the results will show, I promise. Now the moveset for this Pokemon will be where the most work goes in, depending on which ones you choose to use. We have Earthquake, Ice Shard, Rock Slide, and Rock Climb. Earthquake is learned at level 40, so no issues there. Now if you decide to go with Ice Shard, you're actually going to need to go to the Mover Learner while it's still a Swinub. However, if you choose to use the second option in Ice Fang, you need to go to the Mover Learner as a Mamoswine. The Rock Slide TM can be found on Mount Coronet, and finally Rock Climb can be found on Route 217, and is usable after you defeat Candace. However, if you want to use our second option, Secret Power, you can get that TM in Amity Square. With these moves, Mamoswine does well against Volkner, Aronzian Mega, Vespiquen, and Drapion. Bertha's team is set up from Wishcash, Flint's team, Lucian's Bronzong if you're feeling risky, Cynthia's Roserade, Togekiss, Lucario, and Garchomp, Barry's Staraptor, Rapidash, and Torterra, most of the Galactic Admin's Pokemon, and Cyrus's entire team. Like I said, it might be a real late game Pokemon, but once you get it going, it can do a lot of damage in the Sinnoh region.